Hello everyone. So first of all, before I start this session, I would like to wish you all a very happy Good Friday, and also I would like to tell you all that this in this session, I asked the Metatron magnetic consciousness about Jesus and how he came here on earth, because I wanted to know, okay, like many people wanted to know, how did he come here on earth? Did he directly like emerge, or how did he come here on earth? And his soul evolution cycle also is explained. And remember, I am doing this under hypnosis, so I don't remember what I am saying in that state. In that state, Metatron is speaking through me in essence, and I don't remember any of it until I watch it later on. So yeah, and by the way, thank you so much for watching the video. And also I like to tell you, like, Jesus is one of my favorite teachers. Even though I am not a Christian, I love the teachings of Jesus, and it is really amazing. It has helped me a lot, and I know many people will agree with this, that his teachings are really divine. Okay, so this session is about that. And in the future sessions, I'm going to ask about other gods that we know about. I'm going to ask about Buddha. I'm going to ask about the Hindu gods. I'm going to ask about the Muslim gods. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be really interesting, so stay tuned for that. And for today, enjoy this session. I asked about Jesus to Metatron. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Metatron, Magnetic Forces and Magnetic Services, and I greet you today in the love and the light of the divine love element. Before I start sharing my insights, however, please note to keep your discernment in your mind and only accept those that resonate with your heart, and reject those that do not resonate with your heart. Today, this instrument seeks to understand the soul evolution or the evolutionary cycle of the one known to your kind as Yeshua, who later became the divine great programmer, Jesus of Nazareth. Firstly, before I begin, you must make yourself understand that Yeshua is the name given to the physical vehicle for the soul of this divine great programmer, who recognized divine infinity consciousness of divine love light element and came to earth in order to share it amongst your people. There are three identities that need to be understood here in order to provide you the clear answer to your query. The three identities are that known in your vibratory sound complex terms as Yeshua, Jesus, and Christ. The physical embodiment or the physical vehicle is denoted by the vibratory sound complex Yeshua. The energy or the consciousness that it carried during its incarnation on earth can be equated to the Christ energy or unity consciousness of divine love light elements. The third vibratory sound complex terms Jesus is the result of the two previous vibratory terms infusing together. Yeshua and Christ create the term Jesus. This divine infinity consciousness can be achieved by any entity. However, one known as Yeshua was the first soul who achieved such a connection and activation of infinity consciousness known to the people of your planet. This divine great programmer came from the later fourth density consciousness in order to share knowledge of love and light to your people. In this level of fourth density, there are no names, as all are part of a larger divine social memory complex elements. This soul's evolution started on the Sirian star system as known to your kind. as a light spark from the source, the divine creator, which is also known as the divine love light Christ consciousness or unity consciousness in your language terms. This occurred 35 million years ago. In the beginning phases, this soul spent its time learning lessons in the form of elementals similar to the wind on your planet. In the Sirius B planet of the Sirian star system, the soul existed as wind and interacted with other elements that were present at that time-space on that planet. Mostly the soul interacted with the fire elements. Then after 1 million years of existing in this form, it graduated into the next density, that of the second density consciousness, and incarnated into the form of physical vehicles that resemble trees on your planet. In that level, it learned many of the lessons of interacting with other first density elements such as wind, water, and fire, etc. The plants that exist on the star system are much unlike your plants that you encounter on the planet Gaia. These Sirian plants have the capability to grow without any need of the so-called soil in your planets. They have the ability to absorb nutrition from the surrounding air and do not rely on the process known to your kinds as photosynthesis. After multiple lifetimes as Sirian plants, this soul graduated into the third density consciousness, that is density equivalent to that of your insects and animals on your planet. However, the animal physical vehicles that exist on the Sirian star system are much more diverse compared to your kinds. On the first octave of the 8 octaves that are present on the third density consciousness, the soul incarnated into physical vehicles that can be visualized in the form of small animals. Much similar to your insects, in this level, this entity spent 2 lifetimes further learning the lessons for the second octave of consciousness and incarnated into physical vehicles that resemble much larger insects, in your terms known as bees. There are many insects that fall into this category of bees, further depending on the vibratory matching of the energies of any entity. Its higher self will choose which insect or physical vehicle to incarnate on. This entity, Jeshua's soul, spent 7 incarnations learning lessons it needed to learn in order to move forward into the next octave, that of the third octave of this third density. The examples I give here through this instrument are just for the purpose of understanding the vibratory distortions, or because many of the distortions are not available to be described using your current language system. This soul learned its lessons of higher consciousness faster in terms of time-space, taken and graduated into the density of unity, that of the fourth density consciousness, wherein it formed a social memory complex and became part of the confederation of planets. After reaching this last phase of the fourth density consciousness in the Sirian star system, this soul then came to Earth in order to share the divine love light elements to mankind. It wanted to share love and light element of the Creator in the most pure way possible. However, many of the other negatively oriented entities did not want it to collectively complete its purpose and mission. This divine grid programmer then came to be known as the Jesus of Nazareth, who came among your people. It incarnated in physical vehicle of your kind into a man physical vehicle of flesh and blood. This divine grid programmer during this single lifetime was able to reach Christ consciousness or unity consciousness with help from the Sirian memory complex. Also during this time, in order to share more love and light in the planet Earth and to help humanity to ascend into higher levels of consciousness. The coming of this divine grid programmer was a cosmic event This was a great sacrifice made by this soul to drop its density level and come to earth. For a soul of this level of density to come into earth would be a direct threat because it would become karmically involved in the distortions of your planet, thereby trapping its souls in the reincarnation cycle of your planet. This would have been considered a dangerous mission. However, this entity wanted to share the message of divine love light element to such an intense degree that it was able to take this dangerous mission to incarnate on earth. The coming of this divine great programmer on your planet can be compared to throwing a stone in a large fish pond. After the stone sinks into the deep water of the pond, the ripples are still noticeable long afterwards in your time-space. The people of your planet that came in contact with this divine great programmer, Yeshua, were moved by the impulse of the Christ or infinity consciousness energy. The divine love light Christ consciousness that this soul comes to offer emerges from the unity consciousness that can be accessed when one goes beyond the world of duality. This means that such a soul recognizes the dual aspects such as light and dark, giving and taking, good and bad, as the aspects of one and the same energy. This energy was the energy this entity came here to offer to your people at that time-space. The mission of this soul on earth was to infuse or show this energy from the future, who came to earth to bring love and light elements and divine knowledge to humanity. It brought the higher consciousness of higher density into the starting phased third density planet at that time-space period. This divine great programmer during its early life cycle at a young age learned to connect with its greater self that remained intact in the higher fourth density consciousness. This entity wanted to show the possibilities that are available to each soul who incarnated on earth. Further, had it not for this divine great programmer's coming, the earth's timeline at that time-space was going in a direction that would have ended up in great darkness and self-annihilation of the souls on earth. This divine great programmer, through its personality of Yeshua, wanted to hold a so-called mirror in front of the human souls in order to remind them of their own divine origin and dormant potentials. The potential for peace, freedom, and divine consciousness of the divine love and light elements. This entity, by sharing this pure consciousness of the love light element at that time-space, became a massive threat to the ruling order that existed at that time-space period. This he achieved by sharing the divine love light element amongst the people and showed them what it felt like. This was unbearable and unacceptable for the existing hierarchy at that time-space. This is all the information this instrument can handle at this time-space period. And I, Metatron, leave you now in the divine love element of the divine great programmer and hoping you will turn to the great mountain of light, Kairon. Bye.